Thank you very much for joining us on this episode. This is the Parlor Gist edition, according to my husband. And it's going to be quite an interesting one because this is where we're answering a lot of questions. Some of the questions are going to be from some of our guys on set. Some will be from
Past
questions that have
editions.
been asked on Facebook and some other places. Yes, and then we are going to provide our response and our perspective to whatever the issue is that is raised. Okay, so thank you for joining us, and would like to ask you to do the following. Number one, if you have not yet subscribed
Bam.
to this channel,
Mhm.
this wonderful YouTube channel where we share valuable information to help people make better decisions in their lives and in their relationships, please subscribe. It will help you know whenever we put up something so that you don't miss anything. And as you listen to this show, you hear something really correct, something really valuable, something that will help you and you know will help a friend. Please like, and apart from liking the video, also give us some likes in the comments. However you want to do that, whether it's with your favorite emojis or something, go ahead and do that. And then the next one or the last one is share. So share this to other people who need this information, to that friend who you know is in a relationship and possibly has many questions, and you don't want them to make a mistake or be confused about anything. Please direct them to this video by sending the link to them. Life made easy. You never know who you'll be helping by sharing this information. All right, so I think it's time for us to dive in. I'm looking forward to the questions. I don't know.
You don't know what the question is
I
going to
don't
be.
know. Let's
Don't
see
worry.
what's going to come.
There's actually is on the fly.
Unscripted.
It's unscripted.
Okay.
Yes, because there's no script, because they didn't give me any script. That's why I'm like this. If they have given me script, I'll be more
Oh yeah, now
serious.
let's go. So
Yeah,
who's
so-
asking the first question?
So who has liver to ask the first question?
My first question is, do you feel the need to know significance of each other password in marriage?
Ha. Significance of each
Each other's
other's password.
It's important too.
Why?
Well, so that when my network is misbehaving, I can use your phone.
That's the worst reason. That's the worst reason you can come up with. That's literally the worst reason.
Yeah, so that in the event of an emergency,
Mm-hmm.
I can easily use your device if mine is not available.
Haven't you seen that skit of the guy that was in the shower and his phone ring just so that his wife will not pick the phone? Baba ran out of shower with soap, with foam all over his head to come and pick the call.
Yeah.
So there are many
and
things.
I mean, I think people look a lot at the whole your password, my phone password. But you know, when there's trust and when there is nothing to hide, there is nothing to worry about. So I don't have a problem with giving my password to my husband. My kids have my password as well, and I am not worried that they will open my phone and see something they're not supposed to see.
Ha.
Do you understand?
That's a high level of discipline. Exactly now, because there are things that you look at on your phone
Yeah.
that if your kids should open it, they may just shout, daddy.
So I don't entertain rubbish on any platform. So, and because of that, I am not worried about rubbish being on my phone for a child to discover and be traumatized by what they see. You understand? So even when, like, for instance, maybe somebody's trying to, some people say they want to advertise on the wares, like inner wears and stuff like that, and they send all these pictures of almost naked people for you to choose the type of underwear you want and stuff like that. Even those pictures I will delete after
checking,
completing the transaction, because what do I need those pictures there for? So it goes a little beyond just, oh, do I have your password and stuff like that. I'm not afraid that there's anybody that you're going to look at my phone and say, who is this person you're conversing with? What kind of conversation is this? Why do you sound as if you're so close to them? Okay. Right now, There's nothing like that, and it's important for you to achieve that state. But of course, somebody may be going through the phase where there is a conversation you are having that is not very, you don't want anybody else to see, but you're married, and you also do not want your husband to see. You know, some of those conversations, when they're happening, you step into another room, or you lower your voice, or you pretend that it's a different person that is calling. You know, so, and there's just the general feeling of, you know, it's not right, you know, it shouldn't be happening, but sometimes you carry on with those conversations.
Yeah.
Some people call it there's office spouse. That's a new way of phrasing it. Some people
Office
say,
boyfriend.
They used to say office boyfriend. Some people say your office husband, your office wife, but now they just generally call it office wife, office spouse, the office spouse concept, where people have somebody in the office that is as close to them as. Anyway,
so I will take it from the I heard someone preach and says that women have no business looking into their husband's phone. What are you looking for? And honestly, she had valid points, and in the sense that she was saying that if you go looking for something, you will find something. So it's like a system of what you don't know won't hurt you.
But that's assuming that I think statements like that are, people will say it's valid, it's a point, it's a fact, but I think that when you generalize like that, you have concluded that every single person is doing something wrong, and every single person has something to hide.
That one day.
And
yeah.
And there are people who will say yes, it's true, but like, it's the same way people say all the good guys are taken. I choose to believe that there are good guys out there, that there are good men out there, there are good women, there are good husbands, and there are wonderful wives out there who are not doing away match, who don't have side chick, who don't have side boo, or whatever it is they call it, you know, but they are just doing the right thing. They're doing, and they are consistent. So their wives don't need to worry, don't need to be anxious. And if their wives actually take their phone and look in, they will not be worried what they find. Yeah. So that's what I have to say about that. You never know when you will need to use your husband's phone for something, and then you can't access it. Or imagine in an emergency, or imagine something has gone wrong, someone is hurt, you need access to something. I mean, there was a case of a woman whose husband was involved in an accident, and somebody say, oh yeah, this is just a rare example. That is a rare example, but it happened. Husband involved in an accident. Husband was the one that had access to everything. Even to call his banker, she couldn't, because she couldn't get into his phone to even search for maybe somebody's name that has the bank name, you know, linked to it, to be able to say, hey, we need to transfer this money from that account to that account. And the guy couldn't get help because the wife couldn't get money. Do you understand? So these are some of the things you think about. So for me, safety first. Okay.
Safety first. Good point. Next question. Question in the house.
Let me ask my own question from what I saw somewhere.
I hope the mic is on.
Yes, it's
Yes.
on, ma.
Okay, great.
Okay. Why do people in relationship get into other relationships easily, and single people still remain single?
Oh my goodness. I can't answer that question.
People that are in relationship will easily get into another relationship, but single people continue to be single.
I can easily answer that question. It's an art, and this is what some people don't realize. You keep saying, oh, nobody's asking me, nobody's meeting me, nobody's or what. If you look at this thing down to the basics, right? Anything, you have to bring in statistics. Okay? The probability of you killing a mosquito in Africa is a lot higher than the probability of you killing a mosquito in, let's say, Germany, for instance. Fact is, mosquitoes are so many in Africa, so you will easily find a mosquito to kill. But if you go to a place like Germany, especially maybe during winter, it will be very difficult for you to accomplish that agenda, that purpose. So just look at it. If you are somebody who has the skill or the ability to just communicate with people, make friends, make new connections, you will find that you have a lot more people around you. And if you have a lot more people around you that you are engaging on a daily basis or from time to time, the likelihood of something more coming out of one of those relationships is higher than if you have nobody around you. So a number of people who are already in relationships are probably those people who already know how to make connections with people. And they have this friend and that friend and that friend, and they know the different things that are really interesting about these friends, and they know, okay, I can do life with this one, that one, and that one. This one has this issue which I can manage, the other one, this other one, which is okay, this other one. And then life goes on. If they leave this one, they're not worried. Very soon. It's just a matter of time. So from my view, and this is just judging from that scripture that says, he who wants to have many friends must first be friendly, right? I don't know if I'm
make himself friendly.
Yes. So if you are friendly, you will be able to have many friends. If you learn how to communicate well and engage people, you will easily get into relationships.
Somebody said, quoting Newton's law of motion, that a body will continue in a state of rest or uniform motion except when acted upon by another body. So by an external force. So you will continue in a state of singleness except when acted upon by another force. So if you're in a relationship, you continue to relate. If you are single, you will continue to single.
There are certain things that are attractive about people, and some people intentionally develop these traits. Okay, while other people feel, I beg, this is just the way I am. Who has time? I'm true to myself, and you don't do anything to develop those qualities.
So is that why married men are now more attractive to single ladies? Because the qualities that ladies are looking for are already being developed.
Some of them have honed it. Some of them over time have built the experience. There's just something about it, okay? It's just like if you want to be a salesperson. If you want to be a salesperson and you're grumpy, if you want to be a salesperson and you're temperamental, and you can easily, something happened and you're not in the mood, and then it is clear to everybody that you're not in the mood, and then you remain not in the mood for so long, everybody has to know something is wrong. How are you going to sell? Do you understand? How are you going to sell? It will affect your productivity. It will affect your numbers. But then somebody who is a salesperson has to be good at maintaining a positive outlook.
So if a single person wants to sell, he must have a unique selling proposition.
They're talking about selling proposition, talking about the qualities, the persona.
That's the unique selling proposition. That's the unique selling point, the USP.
So
unique selling point. So a single person has to be selling something, because a married person is already selling something. He's telling you that I got a woman in the house. That means I know how to treat women. So if you come, I'll treat you right. Wow. That's what makes.
If you approach somebody, there's certain people in the office that everybody likes. Why does everybody like this person? What is it about that person? They are nice, they are courteous, they're cordial, they're respectful, whether you are older than them or younger than them. They often wear a smile, they have a positive outlook. If things are going wrong, they try to find how to make it better, or they look on the positive side. You know, they're not grumpy and disgruntled and complaining and backbiting. And just develop this. And some of those qualities are just simple everyday niceness, simple everyday kindness. But if it's a part of you, it's easy for people to come into your life. And when they come, they are happier. They're happy to stay. They're not in a hurry to leave. Like, beg that one, Hawala is too much. You know, or that one, or whatever you say to her is not safe. You soon hear it outside. You know, and stuff like that. Yeah. So
interesting.
Yeah. So quality is really important. So
develop qualities.
You can be intentional about these things. The same way a salesperson is intentional about making sure they have the right persona. Especially
if you are selling.
Their craft. Yeah.
Especially if you are selling. If you are single and selling. Sorry. How do you say it? If you are single, if you are single and searching, if you are single and searching, please sell well, market yourself properly.
Okay.
Yes. Next question. Who is the next person? Oga Fred. Oga Fred has not said something. Brother Fred. Ask
please.
now. Ask.
The person said, "My people, why are you cheating?" He now said it like this, so I'm reading. You will want to be faithful, but one abaya will now be treating as if you don't have sense. I'm not cheating, no. My husband, by that man, what he has done to me is more harm than good. In fact, just this morning, I read a chat on him cheating with a 22 years old girl.
Child.
I'm broken, but what can I do? Help me.
Help me, daddy. Help me, mommy.
Husband is cheating with a younger person. Wife says she knows she's broken, but what can she do? Sounding helpless in the matter, and so on. Yeah, and then why cheat in the first place? Married people. So I'll start and then you can continue. Or do you want to go first?
You have been running on. It's like you are running on power horse. Continue running.
Okay, so first and foremost, people need to know that after you have made a commitment to somebody, after you have said you are my husband or you're my wife, after you've said I do, when they ask you, will you take this person as? Do you understand? You have to now decide that every day you have to recommit.
Every day.
Yes, it's a constant, it's an ongoing commitment that you have to make. So you have to settle it in your mind that I am committed to this guy.
Bobby, please. What? I like the way you're saying this thing, but just slow down first. What are they settling in their mind? That love is an everyday commitment. Is that what you're saying?
Yes. Every day.
So people that don't have time now to be settling this commitment, e.g., you wake up in the morning, you leave your house at 5 a.m., traffic jam you on the road, somebody calls you in the bus, you forget the person in the house.
You forget the person in the house.
The commitment is constant. Do you understand? This is the commitment. I get to wherever I am going. A very interesting looking man walks into the room. It's obvious that he probably is affluent because of how he's dressed, his wristwatch,
and his perfume hit you.
Do you understand?
You collide with his perfume.
I will not even look at him any longer
because he's
I'm moving
commitment.
Away. Yeah. Do you understand? So the commitment for me is I won't even allow myself get to the point where I'm tempted. I won't even allow myself get to the point where I'm thinking, wow, that guy looks really good. As you are just coming, if it seems like from the distance I can already see that, wow, interesting, I'm just going to look for something to distract myself.
Wow.
Some people may have their own ways, but I won't. But this is my way. This is my.
Okay.
Let me finish. This is my way of being committed. Now there are some people you can't run away from. So maybe you're working with them in the office. You have a project or you're doing maybe somewhere, and then you have to continue to deal with them. For me, it's a commitment to whatever engagement we have here is going to be strictly work and strictly work.
Keep it professional.
You understand? Keep it professional. Get the job done, and there's no lingering to ask. So how was your day? So how is your family?
Have you eaten?
So what are you doing after work?
Have you eaten?
Like, I'm so spent. Like it's really no. I don't need to know whether you are caring. I don't need to hear you empathize with what I am going through. I don't need to sit and have those conversations that will make me go back and say, wow, can you imagine? He actually sat down to hear me out. Meanwhile, my husband would have said I should hurry up and finish.
Try.
Do you understand? Because the more data you gather about this person's niceness and goodness and friendliness and care, do you understand? You soon start comparing. And as you're comparing, and funny enough, this one, you're just seeing them now. They're presenting their best self. They're putting their best foot forward. You don't know the rubbish behind. But your husband or your spouse, you know everything about them.
You don't see finish. Don't see finish.
So when you're doing the comparison, on your husband's or your spouse's side, you have data that is complete, good, bad, ugly. This other side, you're only seeing best. Because what they're showing. And so you will, by default, if you allow yourself to gather the data, soon enough, you're going to say, this guy is better than my husband. Then
Okay.
you now start thinking, oh, if only these kids were not there, maybe I would have just walked away from this marriage.
It's
So
okay.
then maybe start doing side
It's
runs.
it's okay. It's okay.
So find your way.
It's okay now because you're just hitting on the guys.
So
Let me talk for the guys,
yes,
please.
you talk.
Let
So
me talk for the guys.
find your way
Ah.
of making that commitment every day, and that commitment is also looking at your spouse and forcing yourself to notice the good things that they are doing and the good things about them. So sometimes I can just look at my husband and say, wow, this guy actually looks good. Like, I like the way he packaged himself. This haircut, the carving is
Did
working
you notice
well,
the chain? The
you
chain,
know?
the chain.
Or sometimes when he wears his straps and you just see how the thing sits on his shoulder
it just
and
sits.
just drapes down and everything. You're just like, wow, this guy actually
Aye.
looks good.
Fine
I make
boy,
a
no
mental note
pimples.
of that. Do you understand? He
Shakata.
does something nice. In fact, there was one time that he was upsetting me. So I decided to intentionally pay attention to the good. So my notebook in the office, I started logging all the good things he was doing, forcing myself to be intentional. And it didn't take long before I was able to overlook all the things that he was doing that were annoying. So
Okay,
yeah,
so-
those are some of my ways.
So this is very good data you're giving, especially because the person is a lady that is asking. It's so speaking on behalf of the Agbaya in the house, you know, like he said, you know, the Agbaya in the house, you know. See, there's a way 22-year-olds usually disturb older men. There's a way, you know. Yes. I say, do you understand? So the Agbaya will feel like when you're an older man, then a 22-year-old girl is finding you attractive, rubbing your head. You be like, hi, this is what my wife cannot do for me. Do you understand? It's what? Lavadosh. Do you understand? That's the feeling. So there's on the men's side, right? There's that feeling of needing to be wanted. Do you understand? And so when you're an older man and younger girls are finding you attractive, there's something it does to you. You feel like, yes,
Still got this.
yes, I still got this, right? Meanwhile, the one at home is saddled with 3 kids and something. Let's not even disturb her. Do you understand? And
In fact, you even look at it as an act of kindness.
yes, we don't want to disturb her. Do you understand? We don't want to disturb her. Let's just channel these ambitions in other direction. So
People who can handle it.
so people who need it. Do you understand? So these are all these. I'm just giving excuses. These are all excuses that men might make for the reason why they cheat, especially older men with younger ladies, because there's just that thing. However, like you have pointed out, you know, I was speaking with a client that came into the office today to consult on their relationship, and I said the truth is there's this principle of see finish, right? There's this principle of see finish that happens in relationships, especially when you have been through some things with someone. It's easy to take them for granted, and sometimes from the male perspective, it's easy to take the woman for granted, especially even if the woman too, for whatever reason, may have settled, right? She may have settled. You come into the house, she's tying wrapper. You go to the office, 22-year-old is wearing mini skirt, girlfriend with short skirt 2.0. Do you understand? Do you understand? So we don't know the full story, you know, in their scenario. It would be good to get them in a counseling session. Do you understand? But these are all variables in this scenario, and we have to look at it to say, as men, whatever you are looking for outside, you have to find a way to get the version of it from what you have inside. If you come back home and you find that tying wrapper and rubbing Saturday night rose. Remember that powder? Saturday that they used to, morning rose. That powder we used to rub those days. Do you understand, Otana? Remember that's what she's rubbing. She may feel that is sexy, but to you, you are the short skirt that does it for you. Oga, find person where they sell short skirts and charter different colors of short skirt for your wife. My point is that men have to find a way to deal with the principle of see finish. It means that you have to create something to see some more. And there's always, humans are multi-layered organisms. There's always something fresh you can bring out of a human spirit. So if you feel that your wife is settling and something outside is catching your eyes, come back home and show her what is catching your eyes and let both of you catch it together.
So before you land, let me ask one question. In joining to this, what you are saying. So now if this person that is 22 years old, you want to follow this person and climb fan, and people do
I want to hang on the pole.
And hang on the pole and do jungle justice.
And
the one in the house
doesn't
know how to do adventure and hang. What will you now do?
See, that's why I say some of these cases, and some people ask the question on social media, but they are not social media solutions. They are counseling session solutions, because they are things that you have to work out through a series of conversations. There are things that you need sessions to work it out, because the person that is hanging on the fan may have been a monkey from a very young age. The person that you married was not a monkey, was not that adventurous. It's possible the one that you married, after jumping on the pole with everybody, you now went and married the one that has been a virgin from her youth, and you now come back and you are wondering why she can't jump on the pole. She doesn't know it. She doesn't have the information. She doesn't have the data. And if you guys want to have the conversation, then a conversation needs to be open to say, Auntie, it be like I like waiting they happen for polo. Then we can now say, how the pole they be? Do you understand? So there are many dimensions to these things, and we need to be very clear. Most people think that sex is all about action. Sex is more about conversation. Let me say that again. Sex is not all about action. It is more about conversation. It is the conversations that we have that now lead us to the actions that make sense for both parties. That's why there's somebody that wrote a book that said sex starts in the morning. Do you understand? So it's not just when you get there and I want to jump in and out. Let me stop there before they will PG rate this.
All right.
Okay, so I want to ask this
Christian.
question. There's this thing about setting boundaries. So my question is, how would you set boundaries in a way that you are not mean? Because by the time you begin to tell people what you don't like, it looks like you are shutting them up, and sometimes it looks offensive. So how will you create those boundaries without offense? And again, there is this thing, let's say a young man that is single, but probably thought he's in a relationship. Let's say he's a guy that is intentional and has a lady, and then for the fear of he's thinking, maybe this person has, like, he's thinking, I'm doing this with this person, and let me not, like, not even overdo. He's having a long-term thinking of maybe 1, 2, 3 years of being committed to this person, and along the line, it didn't work out. So he's thinking of having I don't want to use the word fear, but he's thinking of starting a new journey with another person entirely. So he's seeing it as a long run altogether, because it takes time to find who share the same values with you, because it's not just about the emotions. So I was telling someone, like, personalities don't get married. So your name is not marrying his name. Your values and characters are getting together. So how will you separate these things?
The part that interests me in that question is the part where he says the guy thinks he's in a relationship. That's why I wanted to stop him to say, bro, is he in a relationship or he's thinking that he's in a relationship? Because see, these things are happening. The guy may not be in a relationship but thinks he's in a relationship. The lady may be his friend but thinks they are in a relationship. And so that thinking that assumption becomes a problem already for that relationship that they are not in. Do you understand? So from what he said, somebody in that relationship needs to be very clear about what they are doing. And there's nothing offensive about being clear. Listen, if you don't build fences, you attract different kinds of animals. If you do not build fences, you attract different kinds of animals in your garden. Do you understand? In your garden, in your farm, you attract different kinds of animals. So you have to be unapologetic about creating boundaries. Otherwise, you attract different kinds of people. And then how do you know? No, he said something. He said that it is difficult. It takes a long time to find people that have the same values. Actually, no, it's not. You attract the kind of people that you project. Yes, the kind of people, the kind of person that you are, you attract the kind of people. So the question is, if you attract certain kind of people and you don't think they are the kind of people that have the same values, the question you now need to ask is, what are you projecting? It may be that what you are projecting is different from what you are thinking that you are.
Or sometimes everybody just wants something good.
So you need to now ask, if I'm attracting this kind of people, it means that, they are this kind of people that have something that they need something that I have. So those can be people that you're attracting. So but when they come, you need to find out, you need to be able to, if you have your values, if you have your boundaries, by the time they come, you'll be able to place them to know that this one is here as school daughter. He needs to learn a few things from me. This one is here as sister. He needs to learn a few things from me. This one, is wife material. Maybe we can work together.
Okay.
Okay,
yeah.
so you can take the other part now.
Yeah, so boundaries. I think when it comes to boundaries, just put yourself in the shoes of the other person. Because sometimes when you say, boundaries, I'm defining my boundaries, you just do anyhow. Actually think about how you're communicating these boundaries to the person. If somebody was doing that to you, how would you feel? So that you can factor in some humanity into your communication.
Yes.
Yes, it's okay for you to define boundaries, especially when you're not married. But when you're married,
it's not okay. It is needed.
Yes. For
You
to
should,
define boundaries when you're married.
if you are a I don't want to sound, I don't want to sound disrespectful. I mean no offense, but if you are a right thinking man, you must have boundaries. Otherwise, if you don't have boundaries, you become a danger to every woman that comes around your life. If you don't have boundaries, you can be a danger. You can be a danger without even, as in, you can hurt them without planning to. You can string them along without planning to, simply because you did not create boundaries.
Yeah, exactly. Very important. So create your boundaries, single people. And married people, you will also need some boundaries.
Yes, so.
But you're communicating it, there has to be understanding. So before you could say, maybe you're single, this is it and this is it, I don't owe you any explanation and stuff. But when you are married, you owe them an explanation. If I say you can't use this thing because of this reason, then I need to be able to explain it to you. Why? Do you understand? It's not just, don't touch this. Why? Don't enter this room. Some people, especially when you are not contributing to the rest, someone tell you, this is my house, that room is off limits. Really? So talk about it. Some people work in corporate organizations. There's company assets, company property that you have in your care. What do you do with it? You may get into trouble if you, for instance, just allow any family member or anybody, regardless, to use your device or something. Even, in fact, you may get into trouble if you yourself use it in a way that is not supposed to be. So you have to be able to communicate and talk about what the issues are and why please don't do this or please don't. And it's not just with things, it's also with self. Like sometimes I don't feel so well. I need to rest. I won't be able to do this and that because of this and that. It's really important to communicate. I am really stressed right now. I can't cook. Can we make arrangements for the next 2 or 3 days so that I don't have to enter the kitchen at all? Boundaries. What are you trying to protect? Your health, your wellness, or something? Do you understand? Or right now, I'm not really in a good place. I can't have guests. Please, if you need to catch up with your friends, can you meet up with them at their place, or can you do a hangout or something? But I'm not ready to entertain guests, so I don't even want visitors in the house. Why? Discuss it, explain, let the person understand. You actually owe them an explanation when you're married.
And for those that for those that are watching this and are religious and are Christians, and sometimes in sharing your faith we tend to be a bit brash, a bit rough, or when we are sharing it. But there's this scripture that I like. It's 1 Peter chapter 3 verse 15. It says it this way. There's a translation that I like. It says, but revere Christ in your heart, and be ready to give an answer to everyone that asks you the reason for the hope that you have, but do it with sincerity and with respect. With sincerity and with respect, with gentleness and with respect. Do you understand?
All right.
And that kind of just sorts it for me. So it means that you can have your boundaries. You can be unapologetic about your boundaries, but you can communicate it with respect and with gentleness.
Great.
All right.
So this question is coming. They are asking somebody this question, so I'm going to just ask it the way they asked it. So this mic is on. Yes. So Ijoma, why did you go into hookup? That's how the question came. So she answered, I started in my husband's house. He wouldn't drop money for feeding.
Okay.
Whenever we have misunderstanding, he would lock the shop. He will not drop money for feeding 3 kids. Then he will lodge in the hotel for 4 days till I started begging for money. He refused me working, so I joined Tinder. We know what Tinder is. And now ended, God bless.
Interesting. So what's your question now?
So
Why did you join hookup?
why did you join hookup? Because this is what she stated why, and said this is why she joined Tinder. The Tinder is a hookup app.
Is the hookup app.
And she now ended with God bless. Help me.
Okay, so it's an interesting question, and I am, what I would say about it is, people are going through stuff, and that's what touches me, right? I feel the sense, I feel the struggle that she's talking about, and that's what I'm addressing. The fact that she's having to do certain things in order to meet the need. Now, the question is that all she could have done? I don't know. And I can't say yes or no because I don't have more data. I don't have more information. But ordinarily, all of us can give ourselves different reasons why we do what we do. And that's where I am addressing. The core of her problem is the fact that there was a man, a husband, that did not do what he's supposed to be doing and exposed his wife to do something she's not supposed to be doing. That's what I'm particular about. Men need to take care of their homes. I'm not supporting what she did. I'm not supporting why that was the option she took. No. But my point there is a man that didn't do what he's supposed to do. If he could leave the house and stay in a hotel, he could afford to support the family. If you say that, oh, the problem is you need to leave the house, stay in the hotel, send money home, let them be eating, let them be doing what they need to do. When your head has cleared, but in fact, I don't even want to go into what you are doing in the hotel, but let's just leave that. When your head has cleared, you come back without leaving. So you can take a decision as a man without leaving out your obligation as a husband.
Yeah, it's for me. It's a good opportunity to talk to single ladies, okay? Because you have to actually think about your financial independence.
That table, shake it.
Don't go from being dependent on parents to being dependent on a man. Try to avoid that, okay, as much as possible. And if you see a man who is insisting that you must not work, you must not do business or stuff like that. Not necessarily run.
Okay.
Because assuming you meet one really correct guy,
yes,
and he has proven that he really has a lot.
Yes,
of money,
and he's a traditional man, so he's fine.
It's not a problem. I'll just say, yes, your idea is good, but just in case anything changes in the future or something happens that we're not sure, just deposit this amount, and you need to project and have a reason. Maybe talk to some financial advisors, consult, because it's not something. Because if you haven't seen money plenty, maybe for you 1 million is big, but by the time you realize what school fees will be, rent and stuff like that, you realize that it was rubbish. Talk to somebody and say, for how many years, if I am to really not do anything, and assuming my husband to be this person who is demanding I shouldn't work changes after we get married,
by a 22-year-old,
how much should I ask for as security? How much should I ask for that I will be sorted and I don't need to be in this kind of situation? So this thing is really about. So I'm not saying it is by force that you must work. No, it's not.
It's not by force. True.
But if you are going to be dependent so much on a husband, then it has to be that he creates some kind of fund for you, something that you have access to, or he gives you access to his own accounts and stuff like that. There's something set up so that you don't have to be in this situation where you're saying he left the house for 3 days, he's staying in a hotel, I don't have any money for the children. Because of that, I now have to go and start sleeping around to make money so that I can care for myself and the children. Please don't do that to yourself. You succeeded in living life somehow for a number of years before this man came into your life and became husband. Then you allow somebody to bring you down to
that
rubbish,
level,
to where even your values have been destroyed. Why should you allow that to happen
to
you?
Actually, that shows the presence of a trauma. So it's not just that day that the man left that you have been broken down. There have been a degradation.
So don't, please, ladies, please
don't do that to yourself.
Empower yourselves. And if you have gotten yourself to a point where somebody really says, no, you cannot work, you cannot do anything, and you absolutely love the person, then ensure that there are securities, there are things in place for your well-being and the well-being of the children that will come for the foreseeable future.
I actually had someone that I know that like this particular kind of relationship you're talking about. We in my practice, in family life practice, we call it a traditional the traditional man. That has this kind of sense. I do all the work. You need to stay at home and take care of the kids. I actually had someone that what she did was, like you said, get financial advice and table it before the man, so that this man is putting away this money for his sons, for his children. So do you understand? Yeah. So you are not giving it to, you are putting it there for, this is the investment for their school fee. This is but that's when she got financial advice. So she's not working, but the man is catering so that whatever happens, in 5 years they are sorted. As in they are sustainable for up to 5 years if anything happens to him. You know,
And
so
in fact, if I were in that kind of situation, every year we'll review and check with current inflation.
yes,
the
yes,
things that are
yes.
happening
Things
in the
are happening.
economy,
Yes.
what additional funding do you need to make available to care for
Be-
us for another
because
10, 15
because
years?
in the
And we
case
keep reviewing.
in the case where the lady is not working, the man is her business because he's the source of income.
Yeah. Which
Yeah.
it can be a difficult place to be, but people, if
You can navigate
if
it well.
the man, if the
You can
man,
navigate
if
it
the
well.
man is true to his commitment,
Yes.
right? If he said, I will take care of you, and he actually fulfills his commitment, of course you can go ahead and live your baby girl life.
Baby
Nobody's
girl for
stopping you.
life.
So maybe
Baby
your
girl.
job is now to make sure you're pretty, you're looking presentable all the
You're
time.
perky
Everything
and all of
is
that. Yeah. Perky. It's true now. It's the baby girl moves. You have to.
I should go for cosmetic surgery. So yes, so you understand what I'm
Next.
saying. All right, next question.
So we should be rounding up
Yeah.
about now. Yeah. Should be.
Okay, so and my other question is, I was in the midst of friends. So the first guy got married, and what he did was he collected his wife's Android phone. Say she's not going to use smartphone at all. He gave her a small phone.
Touchlight phone.
Yes. So it now became a pattern for all the guys, like the young men that were within the setting. So when they get married, they collect their smartphones. Reason that they can be taken away via social media, or the ladies can cheat, or their wives can cheat on them on social media.
Okay, so what's the question?
So how would you try to, because I try to like tell them that this will bring crash within it, but they'll try to tell me that it's because I'm not married. I won't understand. So how would you try to talk to a friend when you are within their circle?
Okay, so let me ask. See, so there's some things that you just solve by the simple law. Do unto others what you have them do to you. Ask that kind of person if we take your own phone too. Because it's not only the woman that has a probability of leaving.
Yes.
You too, you can leave.
Yes.
So if the woman, in trying to protect you from leaving, takes your own phone, how will you feel about it?
In fact,
So most of them, why they were doing that, it was because they have been doing it. So they felt it's a threat for them.
No, but this is very simple. Like you said, what it brings to mind is a case. I listened to somebody speak, and this man is an elderly man, but he made a statement, and I said, this statement. Some men were applauding him because the truth is, everybody has ideas now going around. Yes, everybody just goes around, throws ideas around, and people were applauding him. What did he say? He said that there's nothing wrong with having with a married man having side chick. Yes, and his reason was that he even quoted the Bible. He quoted the Bible. He says, the Bible says, make every effort to live at peace with all men. So if a man is able to live at peace with his two wives, with wife and side chick, and you understand, he's okay. The only place where there's a problem is if the man cannot live at peace with them. And men were applauding him. I was shocked to my bone marrow, and I asked the question. The question I asked is, if your wife has side boo in addition to you, is it okay?
No. If I were to ask this, how I will ask, I'll ask it like this. So if your wife has this unique capability, capacity to live at peace with many men,
Hey,
and she chooses to,
especially that scripture use men, no? You see that scripture.
that's
And
okay.
Is
what I'll ask.
do you understand? So for guys that throw around these ideologies, right? It's just a case of kettle calling pot black, right? It's really a case of you think something that you are doing, you want to stop some other person from doing it. Can you just stop it and not do it, and both of you find a way to live in peace. It's all about communication, really. Some men don't even know how to communicate with their wives in order to influence their wives. They think you have to deny them certain things in order for them to need you. In fact, I walked into another men's group. So my brother, what you are talking about, men, is not strange. Some men do not actually know how to live with women. I walked into a men's group, and the man was saying that he advises other men to not allow their wives to work, but instead build business for their wives, but ensure that the business does not prosper, so that their wives will always need them.
Yeah, I saw that.
And other men were applauding. I'm like, what's going on in these places? Because there are some things that you know, and you think, oh, maybe everybody knows it. And I guess that's why we call it common sense for relationship. You find out that this common sense, there's a lot of, it's not so common. There are a lot of men walking around that do not have sense. But you get my point. My point is, you do that to your wife. So, in fact, he was saying, he was even giving them that way she will always need you, because, and you are a chairman to that business, but your wife is the one running the business. But you make sure you always give her business advice that will fail, so that you can do whatever you want to do. When she wants to talk, you will tell her, I've opened this business for you for 5 years and I've been pumping money into it. What has not worked? So that she will be humbled and she can't ask you what you are doing. These are
control.
It's control. The underlying issue is control, is manipulation. So they cannot earn their wives' respect by influence. They want to earn it by manipulation.
The easiest thing to use to manipulate
is money.
So it means that the same person who is collecting manipulation
As this guy that is trying to do this with
but
business.
The person who is collecting phone is actually a very wicked person.
Even the business guy now is wicked. There's a lot of wickedness.
There's a lot of wickedness. But I mean, you're collecting phone, you're cutting her off from access to people, you're cutting her off from information. She doesn't know what's happening, doesn't know.
It's control.
Do you understand?
It's control.
She's completely at your mercy for the stuff, right? How can you use AI on for instance,
Baby, you're going too far. AI.
But I'm just using that as an example. Do you understand? It's quick information. I want to buy something, maybe even something that you need for the house, and you're looking for options online. You check images, you check reviews, stuff like that. You can quickly do things like that. But then you take the person's phone, and then the fact is that at the end of the day, you are also harming yourself in some way. Apart from the evil you're doing to the spouse, you're not also getting value, because whatever that person could have done that would have been good for the family if they had the right access.
And you see, the truth is that in a lot of some of these homes, in family life practice, we call it a bossy dawn syndrome. In a lot of these homes, you find out that the women are there in the marriage, and they stay in the marriage because of what we also call Stockholm syndrome. Do you understand? Stockholm syndrome is what happens when you are falling in love with your abuser. Do you understand?
Yeah.
So that's what. So they are gaining respect and mastery by manipulation rather than by influence. Well, do you understand? So it's a really what I will advise you to do is, if you are the only single person in their midst, please go and find other single friends, and get better values. Just leave them. You cannot change. You cannot save the world. You can save a few that come around your world. Thank you.
So this advice that goes to men that are trying to manipulate, collect phone, being wicked. Don't you think there is some sense of insecurity,
Definitely.
fear,
Definitely.
because you don't want to, you are scared of heartbreak somewhere, but you are trying to protect your heart in front before it happens. Now, there's a place for also, if she has that information, she will have the place of comparison, which you cannot control.
Which
thereby
brings you right back to insecurity.
Yeah.
exactly, thereby she leaving you. That's what you're scared of. Now, for other cases, she depending on you means that she always come back to you.
To you, yes.
Sometimes we might be seeing it as a wicked intention. To the guy, he's feeling like I'm protecting myself from harm. So
Yeah,
I'm
he's
just
protecting,
talking
which
for
is
guys.
selfish. Do you
No,
understand? Protecting yourself from
so
harm
I hear you.
is okay.
I hear you. I hear you. I hear what you're saying. He's protecting himself from harm. But actually, if you listen to it properly, it's not harm he's protecting himself from. He's protecting himself from a significant emotional experience that he has gone through. So that is unresolved trauma. So it is a trauma he did not deal with that he's using as the basis to make a decision about a relationship he's inside now.
But in this case, which is one aspect, but in the particular case where he's sharing, these guys have been unfaithful.
That's
to
that's their past.
Yes.
Do you understand?
And in being unfaithful, they themselves were unfaithful, and they're thinking, oh, if I did this, it's possible this woman can also do it too.
That's the unresolved trauma. It's so, do you understand? It's what people do. It's like saying that when you sow a seed, the harvest is coming, but you have sown the seed, now you're trying to stop the harvest from coming.
I understand what you're saying. Quite interesting. So
It's
I think
sad.
it's just it's really selfish.
It's
Unfortunate.
it's unfortunate.
That's
It's
why people
unfortunate.
don't jump in. We say, I always say, it's fools that rush in. It's fools that rush into something like marriage, right? Because this person is going to be with you for the rest of your life. This person is going to have an impact in the quality of your life. This person can take actions and make decisions that will seriously affect you. So who is that person that you are going to give this permission to? You have to actually check well. Check that the person has kindness. Check that the person has the fear of God. Fear of God that will make them treat you fairly. Fear of God that will make them treat you in line with what the Bible says. The Bible says, do unto others what you have them do to you. Do you understand? So that kind of person, if it's someone who fears God, will say, God said I should treat this person the way I want to be treated. I wouldn't like someone to take my phone. I'm not going to take her phone. I wouldn't like somebody to be controlling me and spoiling my efforts so that they amount to nothing. I wouldn't do it to this person. But if you just say, oh, he's fine, oh, he's this, oh, she's that, you don't pay attention to anything, you just go and you quickly run in and marry somebody, then you have to deal with what you find inside. So please do a little more due diligence. If you're doing a contract, you're the person who has the money. Sometimes, a lot of times, people do due diligence to make sure it is the person who actually knows how to do the job that you give the work to, so that your money is not wasted. Imagine those people that don't do due diligence now go and pay somebody to build duplex for them, and then they build the step now reaches ceiling, and they put cement there. How do you climb? Or the one that they build the steps upside down, the flat side is on top. I mean, you've wasted money. It will cost you. So, and you will have to live with the consequences. You may run away, but even living is still a consequence. It has its own wahala. So please.
For me, I would say I would speak to the married people, right? The married couple, just like you spoke to the singles. I'll speak to the married couples and I'll say the fact that you're married does not end your marital education, right? That you've gotten married does not mean you stop learning or you stop improving. That they gave you a certificate when you got married does not mean you have graduated. In the marital institution, you were given a certificate to say now you are ready to learn. So you have to keep a continuous improvement process of seeking counsel to take your marriage from 3 years to 5 years to 10 years to 15. And each phase of your marital journey requires different levels of knowledge and information. So you have to keep learning. You wouldn't use the information you were using when you guys were 3 years in marriage, when you guys are 7 years, because things will change. So you have to adapt. You have to adjust. You have to improve in learning. You have to seek counsel. Seek counsel. Seek information. In fact, let me put it this way. Seek counsel from the right sources. Don't just pick up everything you see on social media and say that is counsel. Seek counsel from the right sources. And I'm trusting that you will also be enjoying your marriage, because marriage is meant to be enjoyed, not to be endured.
Wow. Okay, I think it has been an interesting parlor. What did you call it?
Apologist.
Parlor gist. Very serious, very interesting. Even though some parts are very annoying.
But
it's
that's
just what's going on,
that's
so-
that's what's going on.
Yeah.
Well,
So to everyone who has been part of this, thanks for joining the gist.
yes.
And for being with us to the end of it. And like we said earlier, please share this information with people that you know need it. Share. And if you've gotten value here, please like. And if you've not yet subscribed, please do so. And join us next time on Common Sense for Relationships when we address some other key issues. Like we always say,
Common
remember,
sense
common sense
is not so common. Bye.